evening when Aisha noticed him again. The man always sat in the same corner of the hotel cafe, facing the large window where the rain traced endless silver lines. He wore the same gray coat every time and ordered the same thing: black coffee, no sugar. Something about him seemed different. Not in the important businessman kind of way the other guests sometimes carried themselves, but in the quiet way he observed the world, almost as if he didn't quite belong in it. For 3 weeks straight, Aisha had been working the evening shift at the cafe. And for 3 weeks straight, he had been there at least twice a week, sipping coffee and staring out the window. He barely spoke except to order. He didn't smile much. And yet, there was something in his eyes that made her wonder if he was lonely. She'd seen loneliness before. She knew it in the way people kept checking their phones that never rang, or stirred their coffee long after it had cooled. It reminded her too much of herself, on those nights when the city felt too big, too fast, too uncaring. The life she was stuck in. Aisha was 26, and life had been a series of uphill battles. She had dreamed of being a teacher once, but after her father's passing and her younger brother's school fees piling up, dreams became luxuries she couldn't afford. Her job as a cafe waitress inside the Grand Imperial Crown Hotel wasn't glamorous, it was survival. Guests came and went, and her life became a routine of carrying trays, smiling for tips, and pretending her feet didn't ache after 10 hours of standing. And yet, there was something oddly comforting about seeing this quiet customer in his gray coat. The first conversation. One particularly slow evening, the man lingered even after his coffee had gone cold. The rain had stopped, but he stayed, tracing the rim of his cup with his finger. Finally, Aisha walked over. "Another coffee?" she asked. He looked up, startled, as if pulled from a faraway thought. "Oh, yes, please." When she returned with the fresh cup, he gave a faint smile. "Thank you. Miss Aisha," she said. He nodded. "Nice name. I'm Omar." That was it. Short. Simple. But for some reason, she felt like she'd just crossed some invisible line into his world. A strange kind of friendship. Over the next few weeks, their conversations grew longer, never too personal, but always warm in a subtle, guarded way. He told her he was staying at the hotel for work, though he never explained exactly what that work was. She told him little pieces of her life, about her brother, about the night classes she wanted to take someday. Once, he asked her why she looked so tired. "I guess life doesn't pause for anyone," she said with a shrug. He smiled faintly. "True. But sometimes you have to make it pause. Even just for a moment." His words lingered with her long after he left that night. The incident. One Friday evening, chaos broke out in the cafe. A difficult customer, a wealthy guest who thought his money made him king, was furious because his order had taken too long. He insulted Aisha loudly, even called her just a waitress in front of everyone. Aisha kept her head down, forcing a smile. She couldn't afford to argue. But before she could apologize, Omar stood up. "That's enough," he said, his voice firm. The guest scoffed. "And who are you to tell me anything?" Omar's eyes narrowed slightly, but he didn't raise his voice. "Someone who doesn't tolerate people treating others like they're beneath them." The guest muttered something under his breath and stormed out. Aisha was stunned. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly when Omar returned to his table. "Yes, I did," he replied simply. "People forget kindness costs nothing." The truth revealed. 2 days later, Aisha's manager called her into the office. Her heart sank, she thought she might be in trouble over the incident. But instead, her manager said, "The owner wants to see you." "The owner?" she repeated. She had never even seen the man who owned the Imperial Crown Hotel. She was led to the top floor, an area she'd never been allowed in before. The elevator opened into a grand office, and there, standing by the window, was Omar, without the gray coat, wearing a sharp suit instead. Her mouth fell open. "You?" He smiled faintly. Surprised? Her mind was spinning. "You own this hotel?" "Yes," he said. "I didn't tell you because I wanted someone to talk to me without any titles, without any expectations. Just me." She stared at him, still trying to process it. "But why would you spend your evenings in the cafe like a regular guest?" "Because it's the only place in this building where people are real. No boardroom politics, no fake smiles. Just life happening." The offer. Omar went on to tell her that he admired her hard work, her patience with customers, even the difficult ones, and the way she carried herself despite everything. "I think you're capable of more than this job is giving you," he said. "I'd like to help you finish your studies. And there's a junior management position opening here soon. If you want it, it's yours." Aisha felt her throat tighten. "Why would you do that for me?" "Because someone once did it for me," he said softly. "And it changed my life. I'd like to pass that forward. A new beginning." It wasn't an easy decision. She worried people would think she got the job because of favoritism. But Omar assured her, "You'll earn every bit of it. I'm just opening a door, you're the one who has to walk through." Within months, Aisha was not only taking night classes but also learning the ropes of hotel management. She discovered skills she never knew she had. Handling staff disputes, organizing events, even improving the cafe service. And every now and then, Omar would still sit in his old spot by the window, sipping coffee and smiling as he watched her work, proud, not of what he had done for her, but of what she was becoming on her own. The message. Years later, Aisha would tell her story to others, not as a tale about meeting a rich hotel owner, but as a reminder that kindness can come from unexpected places, and that sometimes, the lonely customer you serve might just be the person who changes your entire life. Because in the end, what matters isn't who has the power, it's who chooses to use it to lift others up.